And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. This is not a walkthrough. This is not a playthrough. This is the freaking verdict video of Saints Row Got Out of Hell. It's kind of hard to sound enthusiastic on this because this is kind of the game that no one's really going to care about. And if my voice sounds different, kind of having technical issues, so I kind of had to do it in a different format. But yeah, we're just going to deal with that. So it's going to be pretty much, my voice might sound different, but hey, pay it no mind. So let's get the verdict video out of the way. Alright. What would I give this out of 10? 7 out of 10. You're kind of probably wondering why I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. I'll explain why. Alright, so let's talk about the negative. The story is not the strongest, but Saints Row is balls to the wall, so it's never going to be the strongest in terms of its storyline. If I had to say which one had the best storyline, in my opinion, it's Saints Row 1. But for this one, it's not because the story was bad. It was because the story was locked away from side missions. That was 9% of the problem. Actually, a good chunk of the problem. So any story missions that I got used to or actually liked in the previous Saints Row game, side missions took over it. So you had to do pretty much fetch quests, waves of enemy, survival mode, all except for the Hell, what was it, like the Hellraiser or something? Probably thinking of that movie, but anything that wasn't flying or just wasn't using powers was just kind of boring as tears. Or it was like annoying. It was annoying that we had to do side missions to progress the story mission and to earn, and yeah, I know how this is going to sound, to earn Satan's wrath. I know how this sounds, but basically Johnny Gat is going to hell. I know how that sounds. Oh, crap. But yeah, besides that, the side missions just took away the appeal of what I liked about Saints Row. That was kind of a big negative in a sense. Nothing really in performance issue. It was the side missions. And even though the environment, well, it's hell, so I don't know how to phrase that. Huh. You ever think of a game that takes the piss out of itself? Yeah, this is kind of the game that takes the piss out of itself. So, what negative can you give a game that takes the piss out of itself? I'm just saying. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much the majority of the negative. If I try to find a negative out of it, the story wasn't strongest because it was locked away because of side missions. The side missions were repetitive when it wasn't mayhem or just like flying. Literally, those flying trials. The flying trials were fun. Or specific things that were kind of like new to Saints Row. Flying, or kind of like anything with superpowers that kind of was reminiscent of Infamous. Yeah, it was the side missions. That kind of ruined the whole experience, or half of the experience. So I couldn't get behind it because of the side missions. And because of some of the side missions were repetitive too, it kind of freaking sucked. Kind of doing the same thing that I'd done in previous side mission because it's like, been there, done that. That was kind of another negative in terms of that. That's it. That's kind of all the negatives I have for Saints Row Got Out of Hell. Now, let's talk about the positive, and this will be kind of one of the short videos. Kind of shocked. The writing was funny. That is straight up. The writing and the voice acting was actually fit everybody. Travis Wilhelm playing Satan. I never thought that would happen, but hey, here we are. The girl who plays Jezebel, I think she did a pretty astounding job. Surprisingly, Travis Wilhelm and that lady who's playing Jezebel has a great singing voice. Who knew? Not Daniel Day Kim. That's a fact. But yeah, the writing was, for the short time that we got to see the cutscenes when it wasn't locked behind side missions, I thought the writing was top notch. It wasn't like Mass Effect high, like top notch, but I actually did enjoy the writing because it was funny. Volition actually has a care and craft doing the writing. I think the writing had some pretty good jokes, great fourth wall breaks, and the voice acting fit every character that we had. Even the NPCs, I just felt like the writing and the voice actors are really brought their A game in terms of that. Another negative, I will go back to that. I feel like Johnny and Kinsey were just not given enough to do. Not like the previous games. I felt like they were standouts. Yeah, Johnny Gat since the first game, he's always been a standout. Kinsey because of the third game. But yeah, once I really think about it, going back to the negative, I felt like Johnny and Kinsey were just kind of very one note and not given a lot to do. Not like the previous games. That was kind of like a, yeah, that's a downer. It is. When I really think about it, just those two leads that they put them as the two leads, and the fact that we don't get to really, we only get 4 hours with them, and they don't really get a lot to do. That's kind of another negative. Back to the positive. Okay, so the locales, I'm not gonna finish that thought, but the locales was actually interesting enough. I thought, compared to, like, let's just say Saints Row 4, but I haven't played enough of it, I felt like the locales for Saints Row Gat Out of Hell was actually phenomenal. I felt like it was imaginative, creative, and plus I felt like there was always things to see in there. I just felt like it wasn't the same environment or samey compared to, you know, I can't say about Saints Row 4, but I felt like the locales were pretty actually impressive for that time. Another positive, and I think we're going to call it like that. Yeah, very funny writing. I actually said that. Great voice work. The locales was actually interesting enough for even the short playtime. The superpowers. And the upgrade system. Upgrade system in Saints Row has always been fun because you get to do some wacky crap all the freaking time, and it's actually pretty cool. That hasn't changed. The upgrades are still kind of like balls to the wall ridiculous, but you have fun with it and give it 2 thumbs up of how ridiculous and how much they push the boundaries. But the superpowers that you get, I know how that sounds, but the powers that you get from Get Out of Hell, oh crap, is actually pretty fun. I felt like it was a great assortment of superpowers that kind of makes me reminiscent of Infamous. You get to control summon demon minions. I know how that sounds. You get to turn your enemies to stone. You basically get to do a freaking stomp the yard stop. I thought that was pretty cool. I love that power. Also, kind of like turn into like blue fire and then burn your enemies. I felt like the assortment of powers that we got for this game and the upgrades that you got with them, it just felt, you felt powerful, and it kept evolving, and it was very unique. Compared to the superpowers of the previous games, which you barely got once you think about it, I felt like the superpowers were actually pretty fun. Yeah, I know this was a short review, but there wasn't a whole lot to say it because I only played it for 4 hours. If I had to say to you guys, just for the 17 hours that we got for the 3 games that I actually give a crap about, they're leaving on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, unless you cared about the other games, Stray. Stray is going to be your game. Stray, I highly recommend. That's a game that I think you should pretty much be able to finish in the single day. Highly recommend that. Cat game forever. Hashtag Stray. Hashtag cat lover. Hashtag, you get the idea. Okay, so besides that, the other game that I would actually give a crap about is Marvel's Avengers on the PS5 version. I think that's kind of worth a rent, and I don't think you should spend anything more out of the OG campaign. Don't buy it. Please don't buy it. I'm just warning you ahead of time. Please don't buy that game. Especially the PS4 version. Gosh, so broken. Okay, and then Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, I think that's kind of worth a rent, but don't buy that game too, just because it is a DLC of Saints Row 4, and they even acknowledge it. Funny writing, great voice work, fun activity, well, same activities, but cool superpowers, and interesting locale, even though I'm not advocating that. But yeah, I thought the environment was well done for Volition in terms of that. So 7 out of 10, that's what I give Saints Row Gat Out of Hell. So this is what we're doing for the rest of the week. New games. We're doing a marathon of the alphabetical orders. We're on the I section. That's what our focus on. I'm going to try to do a second video of Naraka Blade Point because they were doing some maintenance. So that's pretty much for today. And then the rest of the day, we're focusing on the I section, rest of the alphabetical orders. That's going to be what's going to be the focus of this week. And then over the weekend, I think it's still going to be alphabetical order. And I think that'll be it for next week, depending on where we leave off. Next week is tentative. So, of course, smash that like, comment, or subscribe. And, of course, guys, have a wonderful rest of the day, or morning, afternoon, or evening. I actually like that catchphrase. But anyway, have a good one.